Okay, guys. Do you see? Do you see? Who wants to actually look at some Rocket League now? Jeez! Hey, what's up, everybody? How we all doing? We're going to watch this final now. Let's have a look at some stats. I love a good stat. Let's have a little look at some stats. When we look at stats, a lot of the time, there's tiny little things which stand out and we go, that's interesting. I want to look at that a bit more. What I'm looking at here, Torment fits his role perfectly by stats here. High saves, high shooting percentage, and, you know, like reasonable score. This to me feels like someone who's playing around their team, coming in and cleaning up after their team, whether it be from demos or whether it be from, I mean, all of them were demoing a lot, right? Whether it be from demos, whether it be from the assists coming out of beast mode doing big plays, but this whole like game plan that they've got where Torment comes in and cleans up makes the shooting percentage seem reasonable, right? And then when we look here, shots conceded, it's very similar shots, like a little bit in version 1 historically have been quite a low shooting team, but they seem to sort that out this event a bit more. Jack getting a lot of goals per game, similar kind of thing here. I feel like Jack's coming in and cleaning up after Chronic and Nolly's outplays, whether it be from off the ball stuff, whether it be from the assists from them. But yeah, we'll see Jack coming in and cleaning up, I imagine. Boost-wise, lovely to see. We spoke about average amount being high, being a good thing. You can see here all three of GenG's boost. I think GenG probably one of the best boost managing teams in Rocket League right now. Look at this. Every one of them, average amount that high. Actually, let's have a little look real quick. North America teams boost, average amount. Yeah, GenG really high on their average amount as a team. NRG were really high, mostly because of Garrett. Garrett's got really good boost management, but that'll definitely be a contributing factor. Pop-off players tend to have good average amounts like First Killer, like Yan, the ones who come in and do something amazing then get out, because they're very good at accumulating boost constantly, very good at rotating out fast, very good at keeping a little bit of extra boost in the tank so that they can rotate faster, less time spent at low boost, and so on, and it adds up. So when we look at the boost averages for GenG, that's definitely a highlight for them. Torment quite low, but he's a pad monster. Com's a pad monster. Version 1, love pads. Obviously, guys, as well, a lot of these numbers are going to be skewed up because there was a lot of overtimes in this game. This was one of the longest series in Rocket League history. 48 minutes for the whole 7 games. Longest ever best of 7 grand final. I think there's on average like a minute to 2 minutes of overtime per game. So all of the cumulative stats, like when we looked at the core stats, all of these numbers are going to be a bit higher. Same thing here when we look at the counts. They're going to be a little bit higher because of the fact that it was a lot of overtime. But what we want to really look at is the ratio. So the ratio is the important thing when you could try and understand small pads and big pads. So you can see here, I go for about 3.5 small pads to a big pad is normally a good ratio. And then you've got some players who are higher than that. Like here, Torment's a lot more small pads. So that would mean he's more of a small pad player. Nolly right here, not much of a small pad player. He's more of a big pad player. So he's got a different ratio. It also steals a lot of big pads, you know? So like this is where you can start to see what the boost composition of a player is. And this is why players like Nolly need players like Jack. And that's why in a team where everyone's reliant on big pads, it doesn't work as well. You want to try and have a player who's more of a small pad player to try and balance out the team's boost management. Positioning wise, things are looking pretty balanced across the board. Maybe Torment being the furthest back is the only big difference, but you know, nothing crazy out of this world here. Everyone's pretty balanced in that front. Beast mode very close to the ball all the time, so always in the play. Movement wise, all pretty normal. Torment quite slow and grounded, which we expected. But yeah, very grounded series actually. This is probably the highest ground percentage I've seen in a while. So everyone very grounded, which again is something I've mentioned so many times in Rocket League. We're going to go through the 7 pillars of option coverage right now. It's Tapsu. Boost, momentum, rotation, teammates, mechanics, grounded, dodge. Jeez! I can hit SSL now. I actually have a whole YouTube video on it. You can check it out. It's like, change the way you understand Rocket League forever. And that explains the 7 pillars of option coverage. Who wants to actually look at some Rocket League now? Game 4. Let's go Tormy Warmy. Mechanical player. Good speed by Jack here. Oh, Torment. Oh, this is such good defense from Torment. Guys, this play here from Torment doesn't quite work out. See how he saved 30 boost? Recovers faster to the 100. Recovers quickly to the next 100. Comes back to net. Now has 100. It's all these little details that add up. And on this occasion, yes, it might not have all been relevant, but you just don't know how it's going to be relevant. It's these tiny little details that you see from players playing well that quickly add up. Single jump aerial, guys. Do you see how effective the dodge is at a higher level? How it's used more effectively, right? This was a little battle of single jump aerials. Jack at the last moment uses single jump aerial. Torment uses mechanics to adjust himself and get that dodge in. And it leads to a goal there for the team, right? I would say a little bit of an overcommitment from GenG in hindsight, obviously. But they just assumed 1v3 they'd be able... Or like 3v1 they should be able to beat Torment here. But like Torment just so good on the goal line here. A little bit more creativity here from Jack, and then I guess Nolly double jumped. If he single jumped to that, he would have been able to resolve that by dodging through the ball, right? Like these are the tiny little details that could have stopped this being a goal, but I don't think in that situation many other people would defend that. Okay. Ooh, wow, I remember seeing this goal and being kind of impressed by Com. Okay, guys, do you see? This is prime option coverage right here. We just spoke about option coverage, 7 pillars of option coverage. At what point has Com committed to any of these options? He hasn't, right? Until the very last moment. Look at the tension it builds up in the defense for GenG. Like, they have no idea what Com's going to do in that situation, right? Let's watch from Chronic's point of view. What's Com got here? We don't know, right? It's really hard to judge what Com's going to do in this situation, and then he suddenly bursts into it. Do you see that? And then obviously the mechanics there. So look at all the different options he's got, right? So first option. Momentum, good, towards the place where the ball is. It's going to be first this ball. Grounded. Boost 71. Dodge used, mechanics used. You know, being on the wall and grounded is really powerful if you use it well. The mechanical ability to get it towards the goal. The coverage of teammates, you know, in this situation to help support if it goes a different way. You know, like teammates here to cover other areas. You've got a teammate back to cover if it gets beaten. You know, like all of these options are covered through this play, and obviously the mechanical execution is the final step to make it work, right? So this is huge option coverage gameplay. You see how when players are grounded, you just never know when they're going to go. Right, you see how late everyone is jumping in this lobby because we know it's a grounded lobby. You can see how last second everyone's jumping, and it means that stuff's getting intercepted constantly. The ball's constantly changing speed and direction in a hard to read kind of way because everyone's grounded, saving their dodges. You see like how much tension there constantly is. You guys, I don't know if you guys can see it. Like you can see how much tension there is constantly whenever someone's grounded because you just don't know what they're going to do. But yeah, this is really interesting to watch because it's very different and unique to a lot of teams in North America. Because everyone's very grounded, and so consequently there's a lot of unpredictability with what they're doing. And so you can't commit too early to things. And also, you can't take massive risks by jumping up at the ball with the way V1 play, because they play very demo heavy, right? So if you overcommit by jumping at a ball and messing up, then it's very quickly going to turn into a goal against. I think GenG get a fair amount of bumps as well. Like, I'm not saying it's only V1. We saw in the timeline, Nolly was getting some bumps as well. Solid effort. Great structure from V1 in defense. Chronic commits a little bit too far. This is not the strongest touch from Nolly. Let's watch this from Nolly's point of view. Yeah, this doesn't quite get behind that ball. But I know you're going to look at this and you go, that's a poor touch of Nolly. Right? It is, right? We can all agree Nolly got the wrong side of that ball, dodged away from it. Not a good touch, right? But a lot of this is due to the little things, right? Like that touch from Torment, right? Torment, grounded. Great little touch. You know, like they're just constantly applying the ball to a different direction. So it's going to make you have to react to everything. So it's really hard to read the play. Now, okay, this is me defending Nolly in the situation. It's a terrible touch on Nolly. He knows it's terrible touch. What I'm trying to show you is that the constant changing of direction of the ball, the constant pressure is going to force more mistakes out of players. And that's partly why Nolly here messed up, because he had to read that suddenly, and not only read Torment's touch, but he had to read beast mode coming in here along the ground, right? Which is another factor that's hard to read in the situation, right? Beast mode suddenly appeared out of nowhere. So it's all adding up. Again, right? Talk about the same kind of thing here. Beast mode on the wall. Like, that whole passage just before he commits here. You see how Jack is uncertain where this is going, right? First touch, great. Takes control. Grounded at this point right here, right? If we fly away and we look at beast mode on the wall here, there's so many different locations this ball can go. And this is why Jack is having to stay grounded, right? So you have to almost... The way you counter a grounded team is by out-grounding them, right? Oh, really nice play. And that's what Jack did exactly right here. Jack has out-grounded beast mode. Nolly, nice and grounded, comes in. Beast mode going upfield here. Leaves his team in a 3v2. Tormy Warmy, what's happened here? Tormy Warmy's on the recovery right here. Yeah, everyone's a bit low on boost here, so yeah. Like this is the boost war going in favor of GenG. We spoke about boost being a big factor when we looked at the stats, right? So right here, Nolly gets a boost starve in. Let's see where Torment gets boost starved. So Torment right now on 65, gets beaten to the ball there. Has to go back via pads. Even the pads are getting boost starved there through the midfield. And so consequently right here, you can see up at the top and the top sides, the boost amounts is just so much more in favor of GenG. How you outground someone? You just jump second more often, right? Two people are... You wait until someone has committed and then that's when you jump. So that's the outgrounding, right? It's like a constant little battle of who's going to jump first, right? So you see it like right here. This is a prime outgrounding situation, right? Both players very grounded. Chronic takes out the wall, very grounded, very grounded, very grounded. Torment. Look at Torment waiting here for Chronic, right? Grounded, grounded, grounded. And you see, because he went on the ceiling, he's technically still grounded. Still grounded at this point. So then he's able to jump off and dodge. So like, it's about staying grounded as late as possible. And right there, Torment used a mechanical groundedness. At that point, Chronic's jumped off the wall. Knows what his options are. Dives at it, right? Oh, this is just it. This is exactly the kind of gameplay we're seeing right here, right? You see how, like, how low to the ground this threes is. Nolly takes it to the ground. Jumps too early. Torment stays grounded. Plays off of this. Right? Nolly dives in. Torment plays off of it. Beast mode comes in. Turns. Comes in. Chronic second to it. But Beast mode uses dodge in a way that Torment can then come in. So this is where having teammates around you are grounded. And you just see how they won that grounded 50-50 war. And then Jack, I think, just didn't quite read this play. Had to worry about the bump. You know, he's got to worry about beast mode here as well. So you just see how, like, these little grounded battles, it's like the micro adjustments from the players to win out the 50-50s. I like this. So this is something that's underutilized at the top level, is the slow cheat, right? The one where you never really intend on going for the ball unless it pops out in a way that you need to do like a mid-height aerial. Because you see how much boost beast mode gets through just picking up pads. Ooh, I love some wall dashes. Alright. It just picks up through getting pads. And that's pretty good. But yeah, Torment overcommits with this. Doesn't quite get the flip reset. Still carries on going for the ball. I would, in this situation, you can see how if his previous player was a bit more efficient, we'd see him have a little bit more of this. And you can see by the way he lands with no momentum. So like the quality of his previous play was not that of the quality of the lobby. What do I mean by that, right? The play doesn't work out that well. He does get the 50-50. They do get another 50-50. But he lands with no momentum, lands with low boost. And then at that point, it's a little bit of an overcommit. And Com just backs the 50-50. Jack positioned really nice for the counter-attack. And like, these kind of details, right? Yes, this is amazing from GenG, right? What GenG have done here, exceptional. Nolly, speedy to that ball. Jack, speedy on the counter-attack. Very fast counter-attack. But I think it's fair to say that the tiny details of Torment's play here are what led to that overcommit, right? A little bit too much boost used in this aerial play. Not getting the dodge from the flip reset led to a low 50-50, which didn't really go in their favor. That then means Chronic's going to beat Torment to the boost battle out of it, right? So then they lose that boost war. And all this while, GenG are fine with the structure of their play right now. But if that initial play from Torment had taken players out the game, it would be a whole different thing. So it's those tiny details of the quality of your outplays at the top level that can often lead to your team getting counterattacked. And like, this is a car's distance away from being saved by Com, right? Com pushed up a little bit too aggressively, could have played a bit safer and so on and so on. So Com's positioning could have been a little bit stronger maybe. But yeah, this is just comfort from GenG to know that they can just get that counter-attack there. And like what Torment did isn't bad, but it's enough that at the top level a good team can punish it through a series of strong decisions, which is exactly what GenG did. Chronic, strong 50-50, barely any boost used. Nolly, strong 50-50 win, barely any boost used. Jack, I think, landed from a good 50-50 prior, barely any boost used. So the way they did the outplay there as GenG was to use 20-30 boost to counter a 50 boost play from V1. So it's like the boost usage in those situations were in favor of GenG, and then that's where you can accidentally overcommit as a team without even realizing. And when I'm analyzing these replays like this, I'm not expecting the players to have foreseen that and gone, that's a bad decision. Shouldn't have gone for that. That was a bad decision. It's about creating those habits so that you make the right decisions more often and you have more coverage through the way you're playing. Like, if your boost management's better, you cover those bad decisions more. If your speed and mechanics is better, you cover for the times where you've misread yourself. If you position better, you cover for your all the other things like momentum, boost management, mechanics better because you're in a better position more often, right? So that's what we're looking at when we're looking at these things. And like, I wouldn't say what happened in that last play was particularly on V1, but it does highlight one of the things that we saw in the stats and we've seen a few times in the gameplay is that GenG have much better boost management than V1. And that's how that goal happened, right? You can see they're trying to be creative teamwork wise. Do I play Rocket League? Yeah, I've got 10,000 hours. I'm currently GC3 pushing SSL. Right, so let's understand what's gone wrong here. What's led to the goal. Chronic sending that forward. Probably trying to get that to Nolly. Nolly gets sort of man-marked out of this by Beast Mode. Fair play. Beast Mode. What's the difference here based off of option coverage? Which of the 7 pillars of option coverage has Beast Mode got better than Nolly here? Momentum. You get to see exactly why that is. He's also got better vision just because of his distance and the play, but you can see the momentum. Positioning / momentum, yeah. They kind of come hand in hand. Quality touch. Lovely mechanical execution there. Tommy Warmy at the back. And I think Jack has to go because he's worried about the shot on net. He also is out of position because he almost got bumped by Com. So you can see that's, again, don't blame anyone in particular here. It's technically an overcommit, but just a good outplay from Beast Mode and Com together there. That's really good offense from V1, and that's where they're a menace, right? Com threatens a lot of bumps, constantly has the defense worried about him, constantly has the defense moving out the way of him. And then that opens up the space for beast mode to do these things. Yeah, okay. Hopefully you guys got the gist of this gameplay and what the big difference between this matchup and a lot of other matchups are, and where each team is better than the other team. So it's fair to say GenG's boost management is generally a bit better than V1's. We saw that in the stats and we're seeing that in the gameplay. The way V1 are looking to break down their opposition is Com being a menace off the ball a lot of the time, Beast Mode being a menace on the ball, and Torment being a menace in defense, right? That's their main areas of strengths. They're all doing great things across the pitch, but of course that's their points where they're hot spots. Everyone on this pitch is very grounded, and consequently we see a lot of these interactions, like right here, right? Jack and Beast Mode, like if we just fly away, I know the ball is very grounded too, but look how last moment they jump at the ball and then clash. So there's a lot of very neutral 50-50s happening from where players are just staying grounded. You see right there, players grounded. Chronic here, very grounded, flicks the ball, Com rotates away, Torment last second jumps. Com, very grounded, Jack right here, you see right here, just chilling, very grounded, last minute jumps, turns it into something, gets that block. And on the side of GenG, obviously their boost efficiency was a big factor for them. It means that they've ground V1 down by boost a lot more often. And it also means that they can surprise them with a sudden burst of boost if they get a quick boost steal here or there, which takes a single player out of the game for their boost management. They can suddenly accelerate because they've got all that boost to be able to do so and catch them off guard. You know, Jack on the ball, very creative. Chronic on the ball, very creative. It's good to see Nolly and Jack synergizing well. It does look to me a little bit like they are working in pairs a lot, like they're focusing, where at the start when GenG was struggling a bit, they were trying to do these all three players involved in the plays, whereas now they're much more willing to work as individuals or as pairs and just sort of play off of each other, rotate out nice and fast, which is a much more safe long-term approach. And the mechanical options they're taking are a lot more snappy. They're not going for these floaty plays as often, where they pass to each other. They're looking to play up to the ball fast, ping it at each other fast, rotate out fast. So everything's a lot higher tempo individually, and so as a team they're much more in the game constantly, right? They're not giving up much room, and that comes with the boost management, right? Because if your boost management's better, you don't have to rotate out as often, and so on and so on. So it does work very well with them as players being efficient with their boost. So yeah, that's the main analysis of this series. I obviously haven't watched many games, like we only watched the 5-4 game and we're now watching the final game of the series. I did watch the gameplay live, and of course there's 48 minutes of Rocket League gameplay between these two teams, so I could go through way more replays. But I think you get the gist of what we're looking at here in terms of their gameplay being very grounded, very neutral heavy. This is the second time we've seen Nolly get dunked as the last, which is something that maybe that's something he needs to work on personally as like a decision-making thing. So perhaps he needs to be a little bit more deceptive. And this is, I say this is something that he used to do back on Guild when I was his coach. So it's something I've known about for a while. He often tries to play for the perfect option out of defense rather than like a smarter, safer one. So I think that's just a bad personal habit of his that hopefully he can work on. But yeah, let's have a little look at game one. Scroll ahead and start looking at some of these goals. And I'll look at the scoreboard at the end of this game as well. Like, every person I've gone to now is low on boost, right? Look at the boost amounts above for both teams. Instantly I can see that's an issue. And that creates a lot of room. Creates a lot of room for GenG, right? Great patience from Nolly there. Good recovery. Yeah, V1 all in their net. No boost. Yeah, boost is a big thing. We go forward again. Obviously at this point, V1 are going to try and force some goals a little bit because they're behind. But yeah, you can see above. Look at the boost amounts for V1. I haven't broke down the nuance of it as to why they're all on low boost, but it looks like a combination of overcommitment, panicking, rushing, stuff like that. And like what they're not getting much value out of their touches, it seems, right? Like you see here with Com. It's not getting much value out of his touches. Thank you very much, Curious G. Appreciate you. Yeah, being out of position burns boost. Doing bad mechanical plays, you need boost to recover them.
The greater analysis on your channel.
There's all sorts of things like that. First game jitters. Yeah, I mean, for V1, it seems like boost management is one of their flaws. So when they're nervous, potentially first game jitters, it's going to exaggerate the effect of that boost management. And you're going to see little bursts of boost throughout, right? So like if we scroll back and we just look at like a general bit of movement. See lots of little sort of commits, boost being used to move around the pitch. A lot of stop starting from Torment here. You see beast mode overusing boost a bit here. Panicking to try and get to the ball quicker. See how he used all that boost after the play, like that 15 extra boost after the play, which didn't actually gain anything. Yeah, boost was their biggest downside. But yeah, that was the final. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys as to what went down in this final. It was a very close game. Both teams deserved to win the final and both teams deserved to lose the final for whatever reason. But I think it's fair to say both teams earned their spot in that final through the way they're playing. Like both got exceptional game plans, which have their flaws and have things to work on. But, you know, both teams playing very, very well in this final, and any one of these saves you can see in overtime could have been a goal, and in the end the goal was, I think, Com to beast mode. Yeah, this is a beautiful little play from Com here. Gets so much scoop on that, which catches Chronic off guard. Nolly just positioned a little bit too far up. Just doesn't expect that amount of speed from beast mode and Com together. Like, that's pretty good from them. I'd say Nolly should be able to read that. Both Chronic and Nolly a bit static. Nolly getting a bit straight on here. Maybe if he was a bit more arky, he would have been able to read this. But ultimately, that's a great little play from them. It's just like, it's such a good goal. But yeah, like both teams could have won this. And fair play to Common Beast Mode coming in clutch at the end there. Great series.